Hi, hello. Welcome to revision session. Today let's discuss first chapter from history part, how, when and where. So we already started the revision for this chapter. Once again, let's revise and continue the remaining topics from the chapter. So the question mainly arises, that is, how dates are important for the study of history. History is mainly uh, stunned or surprised, wondered about the changes that are mainly taking place or that occurs in studying history over a time. History is mainly synonymous with dates, continuous with the dates. We compare the past event with the present, and we oftenly continue to associate history with a string of dates. For that, we study dates to find out the sequence of different events, incidents, and their importance, significance for better understanding and better knowing about the information about the events which are mainly taken. Which dates? When we are going to study the past events, there arises again the question about the dates, that is, which dates to be taken into consideration or which dates are mainly the important. Relating to this question, there is again a confusion to the historians or to the people one who is going to study about the dates. Selection of dates mainly depends upon the story of the past or the events which are mainly taken in the past, particularly when we focus on a particular set of events. That is the most important part to be given importance for studying the history. By studying the dates, reasons and consequences of the events are going to be understood better way to realize, analyze, compare the events. Then, how do we periodize? So, James Mill, as I explained, discussed in the previous session, he was Scottish economist and philosopher. He divides the Indian history into three periods on the basis of religion, namely Hindu, Muslim, and British. So, according to James Mill, only British rule, only contemporary, only modern history, culture and law could make Indians civilized. So Indian history and Indian society, it was not civilized only with the due influence of uh, Europeans or the British. It can be made into civilized, cultured through implementing British rules. Then there was a significant sources to study the periods of events, and studying different historical evidences, a string of times can be formed. Then what is colonial or what is colonialism? When the subjugation of one country by another country leads to changes, particularly in social, cultural, economic, and political spheres. So, this changes is going to be identified as colonialization or colonialism. So, British rule mainly brought about changes in these values and tastes, customs, practices of the people. So, that's why in Indian society or on the Indian society, it mainly influenced in bringing changes towards cultural, social, economic, and political spheres. Then, how do we know administration? How do we know administration? So, administration can be known only with the importance of sources. So, important sources in knowing about the administration is made possible with the official records maintained, uh, produced during the time of British administration. So particularly British felt that all the important documents and letters, agreements, conversations need to be preserved carefully. So for preserving these kind of documents, so specialized institutions got established, and they are mainly archives and museums. So for preserving the documents, archives and museums are the institutions which are mainly established for the purpose of preserving the documents. Then administrative sources only represents half of the picture, as they all were written and maintained by British officials. So whatsoever the administrative means, measures, uh, agreements, conversations, discussions, documents which are mainly produced, so they are mainly produced, they are mainly written by specialized experts, uh, uh, made, and they are mainly preserved in these institutions established for giving proper detailed information about administrative setup. So several other sources are also focusing on knowing about the administration, and they all these other sources, they focus on administrative informations about the British rule in India. Then sources of information, how can be known about information to us. So for that, official records, letters, memos, surveys, newspapers, magazines, autobiographies, reports, experiences of travelers, novels, and poems, and other literary works produced or made by some of the people are mainly the important source of information of British rule and atrocities to the people. So the practice of surveying it became very important uh, under colonial administration for implementing or for establishing uh, good kind of administration in India. So particularly survey, it became a very important before establishing administrative setup in a region or in a state or in a colony. So British thought that the region or the colony need to be studied deep and detail in all the other aspects, and because of that, botanical surveys, geological surveys, archaeological surveys, anthropological surveys, forest surveys, and other kind of surveys were given importance during the time of British administration. So sources are mainly kept and written by both Indians and British, studied together for representing several aspects of British rule and their efforts to modernize or subjugate on Indian population. Then finally, what do official records do not tell, or what do official records not tell? So official records usually focuses on official matters, like the different aspects of administrative setup, like documents, surveys, then memos, then agreements, then discussions, debates made by the different officials. But these officials mainly do not explain or do not give us information about other kind of information which are mainly required for us. For example, the official records do not tell about the needs of the people of India and social life of the people of India. Many official records hide the truth and only show one aspect of the event. For example, Anglo-Mysore War mainly fought between Tipu Sultan, Hyder Ali and British. Here only the battles goes on focusing or highlighting on either Tipu Sultan, Hyder Ali or on the British officials, one who took prominent role in fighting these battles. But many other brave warriors, many other people, they also took their participation and involvement in these battles or wars, and many people, they suffered a lot. So about their life, about their participation and other information cannot be gained by these official records. So many official records, they hides the truth. They hide the truth and they only focuses on one aspect of the event. So official records does not represent the fallouts of British administration and also do not represent the reaction and situation of Indians on every sphere of the society, and on every life of the people, everyone's life of the people. So with this, we successfully completed the discussion or revision for first chapter history. So from the chapter, I repeat once again, how dates are important for the study of history, then what is colonialization, then how dates can be taken into consideration as important for the study of history, then who is James Mill, how James Mill categorized Indian history into three periods based on the religion, and how further Indian history is categorized into three based on the events taken, then what are the drawbacks or the disadvantages that can be found in Indian history rather than the British history, then what are archives, museums, then how surveys became important, then what official records mainly focuses on, then finally what official records do not focuses on. So with this, let me stop today's session, and about other chapter will be discussed in tomorrow's session. Thank you one and all.